I wish I could find a way to better advertise Apothic Press.
Just back it already.
Whoa, Crom, what are you doing here? What's this? The Madness Roku Network. Sponsorship. 1 month of playing your 30-second ad on the network 3 times a day? Oh my gosh, for $20? And you can't beat that.
Just back it already.
All right, Crom, I'm doing it. Awesome. Hi, I'm Tanner Hurley, founder of Apothic Press. I back the Madness Roku Network, and so should you.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
Alright, boys and girls, this is Ron from Romo Art, also from Sector 7. Alright, take 2. Nope. Hello there.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good. I like you guys' ads. It's pretty looking professional. When I first started doing Pops' show, it wasn't as fancy as it is now. So it's cool. You guys are changing.
That's all Brittany. That's all. Yeah, that's all Brittany. She's really good with that stuff, man. She made all that up, and I was like, amazing. Let's go with it, and yeah. There you go, babe. Yeah. So John, it's nice to meet you, man. I took a read of the copy that you sent me, And I liked it. It was really good.
Thank you.
Are you the writer?
Yeah, I'm the writer, the creator of it.
Okay. Yeah, because I gotta say, I'm a big stickler for like dialogue, the flow of dialogue. So when I write a book, I write it more like a movie script, and not necessarily using comic booky like dialogue, you know. And your dialogue was very realistic and a good flow. Like I was really impressed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had a screenwriting background. That's actually where I kind of started out, was screenwriting. So
nice.
my writing is very cinematic, as you can probably tell from issue.
Yeah, I can. That's what I mean, and that's. I might be biased, so that's kind of my thing. Like I like that type of dialogue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it works really well. So now, does your book, is it going to be a miniseries, or is it going to be continual, or?
No, it's an 8-issue limited series. All 8 issues are already written out. It was kind of done in a mad fury. It was years and years of actually working on it. And then once kind of everything came together, I wrote it actually really fast. I was writing an issue every 2 days. So I had all 8 issues written in about 2 weeks. So
nice.
It came together pretty good.
Thanks for coming, Val Hoover. Hey, buddy. My friend down in Florida.
You gotcha.
So you're that's really fast. For writing. I mean, now that's kind of how I am too. Like I just kind of copy down what the voices in my head are saying. I don't know if that's what everyone does.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can tell it's a good story if it kind of writes itself and you're just there documenting.
That's all So I'm actually one to write very quickly as well. And that's it doesn't like it. I guess there's people that can write multiple books a month, but for a guy, you know, you probably have a day job, you know, this is not your, you know what I mean? For a guy, you know, day job, family, all that stuff, to write a book, you know, in a couple days, that's really good.
Yeah. Actually, my day job, I'm a construction inspector, and we had actually quite a hairy day. I just got home and
no kidding, really?
Because they hit a gas main, an 8-inch gas main, and so I was standing there, and all of a sudden, and
oh my god,
everybody ran. It was pretty scary. Yeah, that's a butt pucker right there.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was the first time it ever happened. So
wow.
Yeah, it was quite the
opposite of that's quite the opposite of what you do while you're moonlighting.
Yeah,
it's very different. Yeah. It's a different world. That's
definitely.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, today was very, very crazy. So a lot of times I have downtime, so I'm able to write. So it's nice. I get paid to write, but not not by my financiers of the comic book. It's my day job. So, but there was no writing today. It was pretty hairy situation. So
yeah. Jon is the writer.
Yeah, I can't draw to save my life. My stick people look like a 4-year-old did it. So no, I hired a great studio out of Argentina called Stone Tower Studios. They did the artwork, they do the lettering, the coloring. They're great.
They did the whole thing. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
just in one studio. That's great.
Yep, I just did a cold call on Facebook, writers looking for artists, and they showed me some samples, and I was sold pretty quickly. They were their stuff was way better than anybody else that sent it to me. So it's been a great marriage. They actually did did all the artwork and design for Alpha Dogs as well. My other comic that I'm more known for, my Alpha Dogs comics. There you go.
Yeah, there's Pops with them.
Yeah, that's 1 and 2. I'm up to 4 now.
I know. Nice. I know. I'm broke, brother. I'm broke. Worse than broke.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
It ain't by choice that I don't have 3 and 4. It's good stuff, you guys, if you haven't read it. Now, the other, as well as Dime Store Detective, I think you sent me PDF of number 1.
Yeah, a while ago. I don't have a website, Brittany, but I'm on Kickstarter right now. If you search that, the link that you sent on the on Facebook is actually for Dime Store Detective 2. The one that is in the description on Facebook. Devill Detective 3 is what's live right now. So
Oh, well, crap. I messed that up.
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It just if you click on now that the campaign's over for 2, you could just search me and see issue 3. So I don't have a website yet. I probably should, but I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and obviously Facebook. So you can always hit me up. But right now, you can buy all of my books, including Alpha Dogs 1 through 4, on my Kickstarter for Dime Store Detective. I got a lot of add-ons, and I've got one tier that it's I think it's called the Ultimate Bundle, where it's all of my comics that I've done.
Nice.
Alpha Dogs 1 through 4 plus Dime Store 1 through 3. So check it out. They're great comics. There's someone just did a review actually today for Dime Store Detective 1. He's pretty rough, but he loved Dime Store Detective. He's one of these guys. He calls himself Professor something, but he did
Professor Murph.
No, I can't remember. But if you type in on YouTube Dime Store Detective 1 review, there's a few reviews and people have really enjoyed it. And like I said, one was just posted today, and he fawned over it quite a bit. So it's cool that people, even critics who can be very harsh too. I think there's always that little bit of bias against indie creators like myself that don't have Marvel or Image or DC attached to the name. They just automatically think it's going to be crap. So
yeah,
to like it a lot was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I think we're in a weird time, buddy, that I think anyone reading anything is going to assume it's all crap.
Yeah,
because it's not like Marvel and DC have any clout anymore. You know what
not
I mean?
Really.
And the unfortunate part about the indie circuit is it may, in any indie circuit of any genre, we are looked at like we're the people who couldn't make it. You know what I mean? So automatically our stuff is not going to be as good. But yes. I can say in the comic, at least I can only speak for the comic arena. We're at this point quality wise better. I mean, honestly better.
Yeah.
Because everyone who loved comics went indie. So now if you love comics, then shop indie, you know?
Yeah. I think Image is, as far as the big ones, I think Image is putting out some of the best stuff right now. They've got a lot of good titles out there. Ed Brubaker, Chris Condon. There's a lot of good Image guys out there. And Kickstarter. You know, I think Kickstarter is kind of considered the third biggest comic book publishing house, if you want to call it that. Everybody's, I mean, even I just seen Marvel's putting stuff on now on
really.
So yeah, so
no kidding,
it's growing. Which some people don't like it because it's kind of pushing the little guys out, but at the same time, I think I don't really believe that's the case.
No, because like I said, it's not like Marvel has a name. It doesn't really matter if they're going to produce crap. It doesn't really matter where they put the crap. It still stinks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And we all know that. So
the problem is that some people buy a title just because that brand is on it.
Yeah.
Maybe
and that's money that should be going toward like what John's doing because it's actually good.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I would say people would be more apt to buy a brand label of something new to take a chance on because it's kind of more of a guarantee than crowdfunding indie world. You know what I mean? If it's Marvel, you're going to get at least you're going to get at least, you know, the story.
I'm just saying that brand recognition is 90% of Marvel and DC sales now. It's not because they're putting out a decent product. It's because that stupid logo on there.
I think there's more people buying their books to hate them and make a YouTube channel out of them than there are to read them. Because I can't imagine who's reading them now. Really, honest, I don't know who that is anymore.
Me and my son both quit buying them a long time ago. You know?
And I mean, and then you talk about
the war, the what they call it, the war, the Asgardian Wars, whatever it was called. I don't even remember.
I never even got that far.
It was a gigantic crossover that just they asked me to buy too many titles I didn't give a shit about, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know. And
yeah, I'm more of an Image.
Knows I've been pretty much solid.
I'm an Image guy too. I'm an Image. Yeah, I'm definitely an Image guy too. I've always been kind of an Image guy. I started out majorly at Marvel. I'm 47, so when I was ready to hit the scene to buy these comics, it was McFarlane, Jim Lee, Willis Portacio. And so I was Marvel, but for the artists. And then when the artist left, I was Image for the artists.
Yeah.
And then there was a long period where it was just kind of, it didn't feel like there was anything going on until Quesada went to Marvel and started doing the Marvel Knights series. And at that time, I was probably doing a little Image like Top Cow, like Witchblade and Darkness, you know. But even then, they weren't the best stories. They were like, if you take, like, are you a Witchblade fan?
Me, no. I'm very niche. What I like, you know, I usually will buy from the same writer that I like. So I'm more of a writer person than story. So Brubaker, Brian K. Vaughan, those guys. I'm really into the Enfield Gang Massacre that's out right now by Chris Condon, who actually read Dime Store Detective. I gave him those because he dealt with a similar genre with Dime Store Detective, and he really liked it a lot. He actually did. Was kind enough to do a little blurb about it and saying how much he liked Dime Store Detective. So that was cool, being a big shot at Image that like my work. So
nice. Did you? What was the? I just finished like a little while ago the one that Brubaker was writing about the kid that was like taking over. He had like a demon that was talking to him, and he had him. You don't know? Oh my god! Damn! I wish I could think of the title because it was really good. I've
never read a bad Brubaker. So
no, I know. Me, I know. I'm the same way, and I wish. I think it's called Dead or Alive. It might be called Dead or Alive. Something very similar, but it was basically about a college kid, who has dealing with mental illness, or it could be that the demon's real. And you don't know, and it is Brubaker. It is street crime. You know what I mean? But
Jacob Phillips probably did the art.
it's a vigilante book. You know what I mean? But I tell you, that book was just phenomenal, and I love it because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you can reread it, you can finish it. You're not left off on a cliffhanger because he went to do something else. You know, it's so good. I think it's called Dead or Alive. I forget who. Oh man, there was a bunch of Image books probably about 3 or 4 years ago that I was buying that were not superhero. You know, it wasn't Witchblade or anything like that. And they were really. I think one of them is called the Monday Murders. Have you seen that one? Crime. Like based on like satanic rituals. Crime, but like corporate crime, like it was really, really good. The Monday Murders was really, I think that was Hickman. I think it was Jonathan Hickman.
Okay.
That dude is only 2 volumes, but very different than anything I had ever read before. And even the design of like the trades, very unique. It was really neat, man. I think you definitely dig it.
Yeah.
Let me jump in here real quick. I just wanted to jump in, say hi to John. Congratulations, and solid to see that you're still like moving forward, kicking ass, taking names, doing your thing.
Trying.
Might see you at Grand Rapids. Are you going to be there?
I'm on the wait list, so we'll see. I try to get in there. I don't know. It's not. We'll
know
see.
Me. I'm gonna go up there one day and run around the place. It ain't, you know.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing but a thing. I'm just gonna go hang out, you know.
Yeah, that's fun. I'm gonna be at the Novi, the big Motor City Comic Con in November, so I got a table there, so that'll be interesting.
All right, cool. Good luck. Do your thing. You guys make sure you show off this campaign. Looks good. Looks good.
Thanks, sir.
You bet. Peace.
So Brittany found the Brubaker. It's Kill or Be Killed.
Okay, no, I have heard of that, but I haven't read it. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. You'll love it. Just go buy the trades. You'll love it. It was so good.
Yeah.
So tell us about. All right. So now I know a little bit. At least I read the first issue about Dime Store Detective. I think that was the issue you sent me, right? It was issue number 1.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So and then Mad Dog. So tell us about Dime Store Detective first. Give us the plot of. Give us the sales pitch.
Yeah, so Dime Store Detective is kind of like Stephen King's It meets True Detective. You put those together, and you kind of get a good idea of what Dime Store Detective is. It's the hard-boiled noir crime mystery, but also has very much a supernatural element that is threaded throughout the series. this detective Mackinder comes upon the crime scene of the third victim of the serial killer that's been left in this display, Christ-like display, nude in the Appalachian Mountains. And she's left over the burial grounds. The detective's father and uncle had buried multiple bodies 40 years ago when they were involved with this moonshine war. We go back and forth between the present and 1981. So, and whenever we're in 1981, it's in black and white. I wanted to make sure it was simple because, you know, once you lose a reader, get confused, then you're in trouble. So it's very easy to follow.
Yeah. You could tell when there was a time shift. It was like you said, it was very well done, very easy to follow. The coloring changes. Brittany's actually got it pulled up, so let's do a split screen. You can keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe.
But there's a really cool trailer too that you can watch on the Kickstarter that kind of really gives you a good feel of what the story is about. So if you get a chance to play the trailer, I think people will really enjoy it and hopefully get pumped, because if I can't get your attention with a trailer, I'm out of ideas. So
I know
they put a lot of work into it. It's a really great trailer, but
we'll play it right here if we can get it to go live. This is only the second time we've done the screen sharing thing, so
okay,
we'll get it though. And there it is. All right.
Yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting close to funded. 2,000 is the goal, so we're about 90%. So,
look at that, man! Look at that pic. That is a great looking image. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That
so I want
really nice, buddy.
Yeah. The artists are top notch. Fernando Malik is the artist for that, and the colorist is Ezekiel Dominiguez. He's awesome. Like I said, Sontar Studios. They're fantastic to work with.
You want to try to play the trailer, Brett? Yeah. Want to do it? All right, let's see if
Fingers
we can get
crossed.
this going. Yeah, you're right. Turn off your audio. I'm going to turn off my audio or else we'll get feedback.
Gotcha.
Nope. There you go. I can't turn. Wait. I mean.
I'm not done.
Excellent.
It's a great trailer, and it gives you a great feel. The coloring, as you can see, it's got that noir feel to it too.
Yep. Very, very cool.
Yeah,
That was a good pick for a song.
If you go on there, they have trailer 2 on there. Same artist, Hoosier, and the trailer for issue 2 is pretty badass too. I'm very proud of him.
Nice.
So this detective is kind of caught. He's really hated by the department, the higher brass, because he lives by his own rules. He doesn't care about, promotions or anything. He just wants to do the right thing. And he comes from a family of criminals. There's moonshiners. His dad and his uncle were moonshiners back in 1981. His whole family is 4 generations of moonshiners. And then this gang comes in to try to push the family out of business, and they're not about to, turn tail and run. They go to war with them. And not to give too much away of the story, but in issue 2, they try to find a new hiding place for their still after it was busted up by them, and they inadvertently released this evil entity that's been trapped in the Appalachian Mountain cave that's kind of hidden. There's a whole kind of I don't want to say urban legend, about the Appalachian Mountains and the people that go missing and the caves that go nowhere. So I incorporate that into the story. It all takes place in Georgia. The geography just worked great because, they had dry counties. I think there still is some dry counties down there. So these moonshiners go to work and are kind of feared and respected in the county. And this new gang comes in, and once the evil entity, not to give too much away, but plays
it's
the
tough.
hand.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to tell you about the story and not give all the good stuff away. Because I mean, me and my writer Matt, we had the same problem. We're like, okay, what can we say without revealing? Like, what can we make really cool without telling them the really cool stuff?
Yeah. Well, in the trailer, you can see that the uncle.
Hey, Roland Mann.
How's it going? The uncle has been possessed by this entity. You can actually see it, kind of play in the trailer. So, and then we go back and forth, and seemingly in the present day, this evil being has returned, and there's a mystery involved that we've got 8 issues to tell, and we're on issue 3. We're trying to get funded, so hopefully people will be interested in it and take a chance. It's a fun comic, and it's I think it's it moves along at a pretty good clip.
Yeah, it definitely, like, it flowed really well. It was like, I can't remember how many pages the first one was. Was it standard 22?
It was 22, and then issue 2 is 28, and issue 3 is 28. So the first one kind of introduced you to the world and set up the characters. And then we kind of, put the pedal to the metal on issue 2, and it just grows from there. So, I mean,
it's a weird, like, it was a quick read, and that's a good thing, actually, because it flowed so well that it didn't feel like, by page 10, it was like, well, I don't really need to know this. I'm going to skip this. All the dialogue, it's interesting dialogue. You need to hear it. It's all part of the characterization. And yes, it's a quick read. And that's a good flowing book. It's not that there's only, it's not that there's very little writing. The page has, all the pages have writing. It's just well done, and it flows right. Character, even the timelines, like we discussed, it flows. Like, where you are, when you are, and it works really well.
Yeah, I believe so. And I hate a lot of his exposition. I hate narration in comics. So
I can't stand it. Pictures. See, I'm the same as you, buddy. I'm the same. Oh my God! Like, if I try to read old Chris Claremont. Dude, like, I love the action and excitement, but the exposition, it's tough. It reads like a comic book, and I'm like,
yeah. Chris Claremont is definitely my top 5, and I think his run of X-Men is the best long run of anybody ever in comics. But yeah, it's definitely, it feels like an 80s comic when you go back to the back issues of the 80s X-Men. He kind of, every issue at the beginning, he reintroduces everybody, and it does kind of slow it down a little bit, but
he reintroduces their powers every time they go to use their powers. It's like, dude, I get it. I read it. You got me hooked. I know what Rogue can do. I understand.
Yeah, that's why I was a big fan of Brian K. Vaughan. He was a big influence on me in my writing comics, because you really had to read that last issue to know what was going on with Why the Last Man. You couldn't just jump in the middle; you'd be totally confused. But the thing is, it still read well on its own if you just jumped in. But because it was so good, if you jumped in there, I would think would want to go back and read previous issues, because for me, Why the Last Man is my second all-time favorite comic book. So,
that's on my Image list. Like that saga, I have a list of things, but the thing is, like, I can't, because for a long time I kind of realized, at least for my personality, I can either read comics or I can make comics, and I found that if I read comics, I wouldn't stop reading them. So I have like OCD. So it's like I would like need to just keep reading. And I'm like, I can really only do one or the other.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I'm like, I've got to create. So I still have a backlist. And you know what? Thank God, because now that Marvel and DC and a lot of other companies have pretty much shit the bed, I've got a backlog of stuff that I've never read. And a lot of it's like Why the Last Man, Saga, like considered new classics, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lucky in that respect. But yeah, I've liked Brian K. Vaughan wrote about 4 issues, well, maybe it was more, but of Ultimate Comics X-Men. So he wrote a little bit of the Ultimate, and I actually that's where I was introduced to his writing. Because he came in after Millar, then there was Bendis, and then Brian did his, Brian K. Vaughan, not Brian Bendis, did his run. And it was definitely a different flow. It was a different type of writing than Mark Millar, but I really liked the dialogue. The dialogue felt like I was reading real people.
Yeah. And then Jeff Loeb came in and destroyed that whole thing.
Thank you. Oh my God. What the hell? Did they pay him? Okay. Jeff Loeb he's not a newbie, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like Jeff Loeb he's not unseasoned. He's a good writer. I got a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened? Because I don't.
I don't know. I just once I gave him a chance with I believe it was Ultimates 4 when he took over, and that shit the bed that I was done with, like most people.
I can't believe it was shockingly so uncharacteristic of his writing that it's almost like they paid him like, hey, we'll give you a little bit extra. We need to tank this right now. And I don't know why. Because the Blob was eating one of, I'm like, you got to be kidding. And David Finch literally drew it. And I'm like, this is disgusting. This is not.
I think, in my opinion, which I don't know, I think he knew he couldn't follow Mark Millar doing the same type of story. So he threw a whole kind of, I don't say monkey wrench, but he wanted to do a wholly different direction than what you're used to, because he knew he couldn't follow. I mean, how do you follow one of the great? I mean, Mark Millar, to me, you know, for my, what do you call it, Mount Rushmore, I've got Mark Millar. You know,
we have very similar tastes, man. We have really similar tastes.
It's kind of like I try to attribute to when Rian Johnson took over for the new Star Wars movies. He's like, I can't follow this. I'm gonna take the lightsaber and toss into the, you know. And unfortunately, don't broke what's not, you know. Don't break something that's already good.
Don't fit. Yeah. So like, I get that. Like, I wouldn't want to follow those guys either. You know what I mean? I don't know any writer that would be like, yeah, I can do that. But the thing is, Jeff Loeb it's not like he was an up and comer. He was seasoned. He should realize that he can just write as Jeff Loeb and it's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was just insane. And like I said, uncharacteristically gory and violent. And it was just like, it wasn't even him. I couldn't believe how bad it was. And those were the ultimate line was for a lot of years. That was my favorite line. And I still reread. I reread Ultimate Spider-Man. I reread the Ultimates. If I tell someone who is looking for something to read in comics, I always tell them the Ultimates volume 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because it is so cinematic that if there's any cross, if you're gonna like a comic and you don't usually read comics, I think going closer to the movies, you know, like cinematic writing would be the best thing for kind of a newcomer. And I'd be like, pick those up, because you have a full contained story in each volume. Yeah. So, you know, you're not going to be lost. You're going to have all you need right there. And it's like watching Avengers 1 and Avengers 2. It's just watching a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think if there wasn't for Mark Millar's Ultimates, I don't know if they would have done the Avengers, or it'd be a wholly different story, because they basically took his, and
they took a lot of it. They did take a lot of it. I don't even know. I mean, Millar was really responsible for, I mean, in my opinion, Millar was responsible for a lot of Marvel's success during those years. Millar and Bendis. There wasn't anything that Bendis
they brought him back
writing.
from bankruptcy. So
what's that?
They basically brought him back from bankruptcy.
Yeah. And it's really weird to hear. It's really weird to hear, because I assumed that Marvel was like this amazing place during those years, because I thought that was really. But then you hear people that worked there, and they were like, "Yeah, the building was old. It wasn't like everyone was fighting with each other." And I'm like, It didn't come across in the comics. The comics, like they had a solid like 8-10 years of just really good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell us about. So speaking of really good stuff, here's a nice segue into your book.
There you go.
Tell us about because now you're still doing Alpha Dogs.
Yeah. I just finished the first story arc. Mailed those out not all that long ago, actually. So Alpha Dogs, I'll probably do the graphic novel next because the first 4 issues were the first arc. We begin with Buck. Seemingly, he shot. I should give away who he is. Buck is the dog that is the main character of Alpha Dogs. Alpha Dog's about this dog named Buck who has the ability to heal from any wound. He's smart enough to understand human speech, and he has a heightened strength. Him and his owner and this older, kind of grumpier pit bull that share in the same power as him are on the run from mercenaries that are attempting to kidnap the dogs to manipulate their powers. And we start out with Buck seemingly dead on the beach. He's shot up, laying there. We don't know how he got there, who shot him. And he instantly heals because he can regenerate. That's the power to heal. And from there, we flash back to kind of get to where we are, how he came there in the first place. So at the end of issue 4, we find out how he ends up on the beach dead. So I'm saying a really bad way, but it kind of bookends. It starts with him seemingly dead on the beach and it ends with him seemingly dead on the beach. So the first 4 issue bookend each other and tell that flashback through the 4.
That's neat. That's very John Wick. That's very first John Wick movie. Like that. That's a nice way to tell a story. I like that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that ending where you begin. So, and maybe Down True Detective does that too. We'll find out.
Right. So you said you went to school for screenwriting?
I mean, I guess you could say that. I went to Valencia College in Florida. I just took a few classes, but I was pretty much self-taught, reading books and stuff. So
yeah,
that was my passion from when I was a little kid. I always wanted to be a writer. And I ended up eventually getting to be a semifinalist in a Cole Fellowship that's put on by the Academy Awards. I had a screenplay called The Weeping Trees. And I beat out 7,400 people to be in the top 180 2 years in a row. And I thought maybe I was going to get it made into a movie. There was talk here and there, but like 99.9% of screenplays, it fell through.
Yeah.
And then came Alpha Dogs, and I just thought that really was more of a comic book. And I'd always, I like any kid, I liked Spider-Man, but it was really the X-Men cartoon in the 90s. That's what, oh my God. These serious comic book characters, drama, jealousy, relationships. It just blew me away. It was a huge influence. Like I think probably you and most people in our age group,
the X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The best versions of those stories were those.
Absolutely. So I was using my paper route money to buy back issues of X, anything to do with Wolverine and Sabretooth I was buying. So that's when I really started. And then Onslaught came and that was the end of my comic book reading. For many years. And then Brian Bendis and Mark Millar's Ultimates in 2001. My son, he was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I was like, what is, I had read a comic book and, since before Onslaught. And I was just stunned at their writing and I got into it, back into my love of comics. So
yeah, that was a period. Like I said, for me, it was like, that was my golden period of Marvel. Where I would pick up almost anything because it always looked pretty good, at least pretty good, and then I was rarely disappointed with the story.
Yeah,
and it was so great, dude. So you actually took a break from comics for a while, then came back. That's time. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Long time. 10 years, really.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and like I said, then Alpha Dog just lent itself, very much to a comic book.
So so Dime Store Detective is crime noir, right?
Yes.
We know the genre. We know what's going on. We get what we're looking at with just the cover image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alpha Dogs seems to be very unique. Very like, are these dogs in the real world? Like,
yeah,
the rest of the world's normal. These dogs are just heightened, because this is very different than gritty detective comics. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not somebody that likes to sit in the same universe. That I like whatever comes to me, you know, that I'm intrigued with, because I've always been a big noir fan. It just Alpha. I was watching Lost really at the time, and that's what kind of was. I wanted to tell these stories of these individual dogs with these powers and give them a backstory where it all came together at the end of the issue. Well, the volume, and my friend had said, "Hey, I just watched the Westminster Dog Show, and you should write a comic book about dogs with superpowers." And I thought, well, that's the stupidest idea I ever heard, but it percolated and it grew. And like I said, I was watching Lost, so I just thought, wow, how would it be, you know? And it changed, you know. And of course, as you're right, over the years, because it was 5 years that I wrote Alpha Dogs. It took me 5 years to do it, and I just centered it on Buck, the main character, who was inspired by my dog, pit bull mix. He's white. If you see my Facebook profile, that's on there. It's Buck, the main character, next to my Pitty. And we had lived in this town that outlawed pit bulls, so we had the choice to move or get rid of the dog. So of course we moved, and that was how I formed really the heart of the story. Was this dog that's feared by the public because of his breed and his size, but he actually has a huge heart. And our main character, Buck, you know, will sacrifice himself to help others that need it and that are good people. So, you know, it's Alpha Dogs is a lot of fun. It's just as good as Dime for Detective. It's just a totally different comic book. So
that's
check it out.
Such a different take. So in that book, are we going to get into like how the dogs got their powers? Is it going to take a sci-fi leap, or is that you don't want to give that away?
Well, so I'm a big fan of how George R.R. Martin did Game of Thrones. I'm a big fan of that. I love how he has this big mystery, and then he has the little mysteries that play in, but there's always this foreboding question. In his, it was the White Walkers, I think it was called. So with Alpha Dogs, the big mystery is how the dogs got their powers. And as each volume goes and stories we slowly reveal until the finale, which is probably going to be about 50 issues to tell the whole story.
Wow.
To find out how the dogs got their powers in the first place. So every volume we go back in time more and more and more. So we start out, I didn't do it with issue 1, the first volume, if I'm able to tell the first volume. And the next one will be Buck as he's 2, and the next one when he's a puppy, and the next one's before he's born, and then
that's awesome.
Before
that's
that,
so,
cool. So it's 5 volumes. It's all written out in about 150 page synopsis.
Yeah.
So I hope to God I get to tell, because the dog that it was inspired by, my Pitty, he actually passed this year. He was almost 13 years old. So I'm hoping that it can be kind of a tribute to him. To get the whole story, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how many books are you able, like, let's say, so you're on issue 4 of Alpha Dog?
Yeah, I just finished issue 4's been sent out to everybody. So like I said, next will probably come the graphic novel, a collection of the first 4 since the first arc, and then we'll see. I mean, I think I probably wouldn't need a publisher to continue on, because you know, it's just me advertising and doing my Kickstarter. So it's I haven't made any money yet. I've actually lost money in every single one of them. So it's getting to a point where it's not financially feasible to keep doing these. So we'll see what happens. I haven't tried to reach out to a publisher yet. I wanted to have a nice portfolio, I guess you could say. So now that I have first 4 issues of Alpha Dogs, and I'll have 3 of Dime Store if we get funded. So go out there and back it. I'm pretty close. I'm at 90% right now. Which obviously that doesn't break you even. That's just the least amount you can lose.
Right.
But I do really good at the Comic Cons. The poster for Alpha Dogs really catches people's eye, and Dime Store Detective I think does too. So
that's great, man. Wow.
Wow.
So how many books do you put out? Like, how many books are you able to put out a year?
I think in 2023 I've done 4. if I remember right. Did I do?
Wow.
No, I did 3. It was November when Alpha Dogs 3 launched on Kickstarter. So it was almost 2023. It was technically 2024. So I've done 3 in 2023. So wow. I wish I could do them every month. I like to get this story done, but
right. Yeah, 50 issues
feasible.
in the indie world that's a mountain to climb, man.
Yeah, it is. So I would definitely probably need to get a publisher, and
I would love to see that. That'd be so cool.
It would be. I'm going to be handing them out at the Motor City Comic Con. The Motor City Comic Con is one of the biggest Comic Cons in America, so there'll be a lot of people.
Wow.
There.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So hopefully it's the November show, so it isn't as big as the summer one, but I'm sure there'll be some people there. So I'll be taking some issues with me.
That's gonna be how. So when you go to the Comic Con, how do you? Everyone's got their thing. Everyone's got their boards. Everyone's got their posters, their flyers. Yeah. They're trying to it looks like those like houses in Chile or something where they're on top of each other.
Yeah.
So how do you? Because obviously you've done them and you do well at them. So that's different. Anyone can do them, but you do well at them. What advice do you give to people who are going to go set up their booth? How the hell do you get the traffic to come your way?
You grab them. I'd never sit down. I'm always standing. When somebody walks by, I say hi, try to strike up a conversation. And usually if they seem a little bit interested, then I'll say, oh, are you a dog lover or do you like crime mysteries? I mean, who doesn't like a crime mystery? And so that kind of now granted about 75% of the time they say, oh yeah, and keep on walking, or say, look at it and act interested and leave. But if you just really approach everybody that at least just even kind of looks your way, or sometimes don't even have to look my way. I've had because nobody knows me from Adam, but I have 2 really big stand-ups, 6-foot stand-ups, and the artwork speaks for itself. And that kind of gets them over, especially the Alpha Dog poster, because everybody loves dogs. If you don't, you're an ass.
Yeah, right.
But so that usually gets them over, and I just do my pitch and hope for the best. And if they act kind of not interested in one, then I switch to the other. So they're 2 totally different genres, so it kind of works. But I usually sell about 4 to 1 Alpha Dogs to Dime Store Detective. So
wow,
yeah, Dime Store Detective is very niche, but which is frustrating because I use the word that I don't like people using this niche, because a good story is a good story. It doesn't matter what kind of genre it is. And
that's how me and Matt are as well. Me and Matt Boyce, who is the writer, we co-created Sector 7, but he's the writer. It's a giant kaiju book. And we purposely, he's a lot like me, who's obviously we all 3 of us have very similar tastes in how and writing and in stories and stuff. We wrote it the same. We wrote it not as a kaiju book. We wrote it as a good story that has kaijus in it. You know what I mean? And it's very different. So if you don't like kaijus, it doesn't matter. It's a good story. It's got sci-fi. It's even got a robot ninja for those people. It's got a pretty protagonist. It's got everything. It's got, it's got Nazis. It's got time stuff. It's got everything. And we purposely didn't do it like the regular American type kaiju, where it's all just giant feet and smashing buildings. We wrote an actual story with characters, with character arcs that you love, and even the kaijus themselves. Every kaiju is so different that you're able to pick out which one you like. You know what I mean? It's a very, and that's how I approach anything. I approach any writing. I'm not trying to hit an audience. I'm trying to make something good. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But I know that when it's good, that's when all the sales are up. That's when, your biggest audience is going to read something good. So that's just how I've always approached it too.
Yeah, it's a good philosophy to have.
Yeah. So freaking, that's great, man. You did a lot of books in 20. 3, but for indie, 3's a lot. And
yeah,
that's paying the studio like out of pocket. You know what I mean? That's at a big cost for you. So
oh yeah, it is. So my wife's gonna kill me if I do any more.
I know. My wife's well. I mean, I haven't lost anything. See, here's like my philosophy. I'm always willing to be wrong. But this is just how, like, I can, if I'm going to do a book, like if I'm going to put 9 months, let's say, because I'll be the artist, right? The art takes the longest part to do, and my art is extremely detailed. Okay, so let's say it takes me with a day job, with a family, it takes me 8 or 9 months to draw one issue. Let's say 8 months, right? If I spend that long putting in that much effort, I at least want 2 months rent out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not asking for a year's rent. I at least want 2 months rent. And because I can draw all day and hang my pictures up on the fridge for free. It's easy to make no money. You know what I mean? Like I can't do that. And I'm not like, I could go to Wendy's and earn more than nothing. Yeah. So my philosophy is like, if I'm, and I get that, like, people have told me, like, been surprised, and they're like, "You expect to make money?" I'm like, "Why? I don't expect to make a lot of money. I don't even expect a second income, but I expect something, you know." And again, I could be wrong, you know. I just don't. I don't have that extra money to not make something out of it. So. Yeah. I mean, it's people don't understand the heavy toll it takes on indie creators.
Yeah, absolutely. It does.
I mean, financially, like everything's coming out of pocket for you, and it's your time. You're the guy doing it. You know what I mean? You're the guy promoting it, and it's you have a wife. Do you have kids?
Yeah, they're grown now.
Okay, so but you have family man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You have a wife. You have a daytime job. And to do something knowing that at least for 3 or 4 issues, you're not going to make anything of it.
Yeah.
It's pure love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's pure love.
And I think it's too, you're betting on yourself. And I that's what I'm doing. I'm believing in myself that I think that, you know, all it takes is that one person to say, oh, wow, this is pretty good. So, you know, that's my philosophy. I just take that one person to like it enough to sign me or whatever. I mean, Damn Sure Detective would play really well as a miniseries on HBO or a movie. So
that's exact. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, it reads like a screenplay. It reads like a movie. It is a true detective. It is, you know what I mean? It is those things. Yeah, I would love to see you get into, especially with the Alpha Dogs. I think that might be your big, your first one to go to a publisher. Where you
shoot, I'm sorry, wrong one.
There he is. Oh, okay. Brittany says she's sorry. She's just playing around with the screen.
Alpha Dogs definitely would be great too. On the screen, it's and people have asked me many times. They've said, "Oh man, you should take it to Netflix." And it's not like you're just gonna go knock on Netflix's front door and say, "Here's my comics," you know.
I know. Honestly, dude, though, if I would stay away from anything like Netflix or anything. They're gonna end up dyeing one of the dog's hairs pink. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I swear, it's like part of the contract.
I know.
Your whole show could be about nothing about that stuff, but there has to be one scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're doing it for love and passion, you're not doing it for money, stay away from Netflix. It ain't worth your soul, brother. It ain't worth your soul. No, I think your stuff would look great. Like your stuff would look great like at Barnes and Nobles. You know what I mean? Like it would look really nice if you got a publisher with a nice trade. It looks so cool.
I've sent out to agents and hoping to get an agent maybe. So, but I haven't heard back. But I started doing that about a month ago. So,
where do you find? Okay, I've heard that a few times about agents, which you don't normally think of in the comic book world. But artists and writers have agents. Where do you look for art agents?
What I did is I looked up graphic novel agents. So that's what I typed in was agents who take on graphic novels. So that's why I fielded, and a lot of them right now aren't taking anybody because it's end of the season. But there's a few that I've reached out to. But it's like anything else. You got to reach out to 1,000 of them to get a couple hits. So it's all a numbers game, and the same thing with Kickstarter with emails. One of the most important aspects of running a Kickstarter is your email list. So out of every email, you get 1,000 emails, you might get 10 people to back it. So
man, like I said, just the time and the amount of time it takes to do all this equals the amount of love that you have for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's unbelievable. And and as indie creators, we're the entire studio. Like we're the marketing department, we're the creative department, we're the social media department, which I never wanted to be a part of. I never wanted a YouTube channel or anything. But that's just how you do it now.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how you now. Do you have a YouTube channel, or do you just?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel.
You do? Okay. So what is your YouTube channel?
Sorry, I got to get into my other because my battery's about ready to die. My thing, I don't know. I think it's Jon Dexter.
I don't know.
If you type in my trailer or something, then you'll write Alpha Dogs trailer or Dime-Store Detective trailer. That'll take you to it.
Okay. Yeah. The whole social media thing, man. I'm like, when me and Matt started, we were like, you know what? We're gonna make a good product. The good product will sell itself, and it's like, nope, that's the old world.
Yeah,
good product will make you your name in the old world, and then in the new world, it's like you need a name first. And it's completely the opposite. It's very much the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be. I hope. I really do hope it works out for you. I really do. As much as it already is. You've already gotten books funded, which is more than I've been able to do so far. So you're ahead of a lot of people in that aspect.
Yeah. I might lose you here pretty soon. So just as a warning. So I'm trying to get onto my phone, but it's not doing very well.
Okay. Anyway. That's right. Well, we've only got like 2.5 minutes left, anyways, buddy.
Okay.
I'm gonna have once my wife gets back in because she went to send the neighbor kid back home. When she gets back in here, I'm gonna have her play the trailers and then have her. We'll just be out. But we'll talk. If I lose you, I'll lose you. Yeah, that's all right. I'll hold the rest of the show.
Yeah, if it dies on me, then
if it dies, it dies. Then, show's over. It's an hour show. We're good.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So how many times do you plan on doing like in 2024?
I like I said, February is when I plan on launching the graphic novel because you'd be an idiot to launch anything starting once October, towards the end of October, it gets bad. And for Kickstarter, November, December, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And then January, they're recovering for Christmas. So it's going to be February before I launch the graphic novel of Alpha Dogs. And then after that, it'll be Dime Store 4 and hopefully Alpha Dogs 5 that's the goal. So we'll see what happens, but it's definitely getting tougher because there's less and less people backing Kickstarter. It's been my worst Kickstarter actually. And a lot of people are struggling right now with their Kickstarters.
Why is there less backers?
I think the economy. I think the economy's really making people pinch their pennies. Because I was like, God, I thought it'd be funded pretty quickly, and it's been. I'm at 90%, and I got 13 days left, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to double what my funding goal would be nice. That's probably not going to happen. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's been rough because everything been going. My last Kickstarter was Alpha Dogs that was back in March, and it was my best Kickstarter. I had 120 backers, which beat my old record of 108. So which was like, oh great, it's growing and growing, and then so I don't know what happened between then and there, but it's a lot. It's not just me; it's almost everybody. It's kind of like the news of the indie comic people is that Kickstarter's been a real bear this month, and it's probably not going to get any better with the holidays coming up. So then it probably, even though Kickstarter is like the main one you said for comic books,
it's probably the same across the board then. You know what
I mean? I would guess. I don't know.
If it's an economy issue, then it'd be the same on Indiegogo. It'd be the same anywhere.
I would assume so. Yeah. So, luckily, I mean, like I said, I do really well at the Comic Cons. Last year was my first Comic Con, and I did 2 that year. And then this year, I've done, I think 5. I'm doing one tomorrow. And I've been selling between 60 and 80 comics. So I've done really well at the Comic Cons.
Per con?
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I've done really, really well. But like I said, I don't sit down and it's either that or die. So,
I know.
It's grab them as they walk by and do my spiel. And, it's great artwork. The artwork really brings them in. So it's not me. It's just the artwork. And hopefully my little spiel about what to expect with the comic. So,
yeah. Awesome, dude. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On all the success so far. And I hope you have a lot more. And I hope to be able to talk to you again. And I really want you to get a publisher. I think it'd be perfect for you. I mean, it may be perfect for all of us, but you've already got, you've already got issues under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's going to be a big plus for you, especially when you start handing them, when you start talking to the editors. Because they look for a volume of work already, and
exactly.
You're doing that. So man. So we're gonna roll out the more trailers or the commercials, and then we're out of here. So thanks for coming on, Jon. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, it's been fun. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for everyone for coming, and love you guys. Have a safe weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.